Okay, this weekend was a comedy of errors. Firstly, Kevin spent the perfect amount of fab to secure Hassan Haskins, the new starting running back for the Chargers, only to have him get 7 touches and 23 total yards, while Kamani Vidal exploded all over the field and also Dan's face with 21 touches and almost 20 fantasy points. Then Scott tinkered and swapped Ramondre out of his flex spot for Sam Laporta, losing himself almost 10 fantasy points as well as the matchup and 1.2 valuable points in the standings. Scott is currently in 8th, but he should be in 6th. That is a bad, bad mistake. Speaking of tinkering, it wouldn't have won him the matchup, but Sam swapped away from Justin Herbert and started Matt Stafford, and then didn't start the Rams defense in favor of the Eagles. These two moves cost him over 22 points. Not enough to win the matchup, obviously, but would have made his week a lot less embarrassing. Tim then started a tight end that wasn't active, though thankfully his bench tight end wouldn't have won in the matchup either. He actually would have lost by about a half a point. That would have been fucking brutal. We lost Puka, we lost Igbuka, we lost Garrett Wilson, at least for the upcoming week. That's not really funny. That just sucks. What is funny, however, is the fact that I handed Sam his first loss of the season, and that means that Dan now has to say something nice about me. Also, a reminder that the taunt function on the app is Sam's least favorite thing in the world, and everyone should make sure to absolutely not do that whenever you're playing against him. Definitely don't use the taunt function against Sam. He really doesn't like it, guys. Be nice. Anyway, at number 10 in the power rankings, we're just getting right to it. At number 10 is me. Fucking of course. Okay, so I scored 118 2 weeks ago. I scored 121 last week to take down the final undefeated team in the league. Fucking look at my team right now. Henry is on a bye. Etienne hasn't scored in 2 weeks. Breece Hall hasn't scored at all. Pierce Hall and Godwin are both hurt right now. I've had to rely on fucking Kendrick Bourne and Trey Tucker to scrape wins together. Is this what it feels like to be Chris every year? Just somehow like cobbling a couple wins together at a time to get like a winning season? I missed last year when I basically didn't worry about my team at all after, I don't know, week 4. This sucks. My team fucking sucks. At number 9, down 3 spots from last week, is Grant. Grant, since you pointed out that you were 3rd in scoring, you've quickly fallen down to 7th. Your team definitely looks better without Calvin Ridley in it, though. I guess you're glad to be Ridley of him? Anyway, I think your team looks pretty good this week. Like, Bucks Lions should be fucking lit. But over the next few, I'm a little worried. Also, why are you keeping Jalen Coker in your IR spot? Like, do you really think there's any chance that you start him at all? Frankly, if you have to use a guy like that, it means you're in bad shape. I mean, shit, look at who I'm fucking starting this week. At number 8, up 1 spot from last week, is Dan. No Garrett Wilson, no problem. I mean, and also just like seeing CeeDee Lamb back in your lineup makes this team look so much better. Losing while scoring almost 122 points feels fucking terrible, but at least your team is scoring points. When that happens, the rest tends to take care of itself. Notably, almost every player on Dan's roster would start over one of my guys, so I felt the need to move him up. At number 7, down 1 spot from last week, is Kevin. The whiff on Hassan Haskins definitely feels bad, especially since Travion Henderson is also doing absolutely nothing. So the fact that Kevin only has 2 usable running backs on his roster, and he's starting 2 tight ends this week, and he's not ranked last, that's a fucking miracle. Though, I will say, Darren Waller has been a revelation, and we know George Kittle is good. Then JJ and Nico Collins could, at any given point, put up 35 to 40 combined points in any week. And I love how the Dolphins are using Achane. He's tiny, but he is awesome. And so he's fucking great as long as he's healthy. Kevin has scored fine over the last 4 weeks, but the odds of this lineup really coming together all at once are admittedly pretty slim, meaning that his ceiling may be a bit capped. And frankly, like 107 points a game probably isn't going to make the playoffs. At number 6, down 1 spot from last week, is Tim. Bucky and Omarion Hampton going down would have completely killed any other team in the league, but frankly, Rico Dowdle and Cam Skeet Boob have been amazing in their stead, like nothing short of amazing. The timing of those injuries and the guys ahead of Rico Dowdle and Cam Skeet Boob, like that couldn't have lined up any better for Tim. Now, the lack of Josh Allen this week obviously hurts him. Plus, Marvin Harrison Jr., Matthew Golden, Devontae Smith are, we'll say, unpredictable at best. Even with all of this uncertainty, I still think this is a very solid team. And if Tim can hang on until his guys get healthy, he'll resume being a force in this league. At number 5, up 2 spots from last week, is Scott. Now, I definitely should punish Scott for tinkering himself into a loss last week, but frankly, his team looks pretty solid right now. A.J. Brown certainly hasn't been at all what we would have hoped, but I kind of wonder if the squeaky wheel gets the grease this week. Also, Metcalf is going to fucking ruin the Bengals on Thursday. Even without Scary Terry and with Chuba Hubbard probably losing his starting job, this team is still going to put up points and still, I think, has room to grow going forward. At number 4, same as last week, is Patrick. So as it turns out, Ted McMillan can score touchdowns, at least 2 of them. He just needed a little pep talk is all. And also to play the Cowboys defense. Patrick's bench is a bunch of who gives a fuck players, but the starting lineup is really good. Although I'll say that I may be biased because his 3 best players, Jacobs, Brown, and JSN, were all on my roster last year. So I may have a soft spot for them, or a really hard spot. Either way, Patrick is comfortable being 4th in scoring right now. He's edging 3rd, like right behind Jason, and is firmly in the playoff hunt. Well done, Patrick. At number 3, in the same spot as last week, is Sam. I did say last week that this team isn't 125 points a game good, and I meant it. Still, it's a small sample size, but injuries and bye weeks have made this team look very average right now. Without James Cook and Puka Nacua, likely Sam's best 2 players, this team still looks good, but not great. Bowers is out too, but Rashee Rice has returned from suspension, so maybe he can help Sam get back on track. Although you know what they say, if you have 2 quarterbacks, you don't have any. And something tells me that Sam is going to waffle back and forth between Stafford and Herbert a lot going forward. At number 2, same spot as last week, is Chris. It seems that the trick to unlocking Chris's team was to get rid of Lamar Jackson. Lamar got injured in week 4, and since then, Chris has scored 137 points and 161 points. What the fuck are we doing here? Now, Chris has benefited immensely from the Lamb injury, and Rice returning may really crush Travis Kelce's production, but for now, this is the best team in the league. And at number 1, I like that I say the best team in the league at number 2. And now at number 1, of course, same spot as last week, is Jason. Now, my curse, stronger than I thought. Not only did I prevent Jason from scoring 100 last week, as I predicted, but I also took out his best wide receiver and then held Jahmyr Gibbs and Javonte Williams to fewer than 10 points combined. Let's see if the curse can stay effective this week. Now, in all seriousness, I just still believe that, like, the other shoe is going to drop with Daniel Jones, and then, like, Jake Ferguson isn't going to be tied for 10th in the NFL with targets going forward, which is why Jason has, I think, a good team, just not a great one. Let's talk about the upcoming matchups real quick. Scott versus Eli. We'll just say it. I can't believe I beat Sam last week. There's no way it happens again. I got lucky. Scott has better depth and better matchups than me. I'm not doing a bit. Scott's going to win this one. Chris against Tim. Chris has built a fucking juggernaut, and Tim is facing injuries and buys. I don't know that this one will be particularly close. Also, Tim, you need to put a kicker in your lineup. Grant against Dan. The bearded daddies with bad teams are going at it. Grab your popcorn, folks. This one is probably going to end up 94-88. Sam against Patrick is next. Patrick has a chance to grab a win against, I think, a much stronger opponent, and I think he'll do it. Puka, Bowers, and Cook being out is definitely going to be tough to overcome for Sam. And then lastly, we have Jason against Kevin. Jason's got probably the best running back core in the league against Kevin's probably the worst one. Unfortunately, Jason probably takes this one, even though he's going to score less than 100. Anyway, that'll do it for this week's recap. Good luck to everyone except Scott. Go fuck yourselves.